The snake suddenly opened its beady eyes. Slowly, very slowly, it raised its head until its head and its eyes are level with Harry's. Hi, this is Lola and welcome to Lola and AnnaBelle. Today we're going to continue with chapter 2 from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And this is kind of more of a reaction style talk about Harry Potter and my thoughts. I will try to keep this as brief as possible, but I just kind of wanted to give my thoughts and opinions. I know this isn't original, but I do have thoughts. I love Harry Potter. So sit back, relax. I will have imagery from either art I'm working on or some crafts I'm just getting through. So enjoy. Let's get into it. Alright, this is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the fantasy class. So 10 years has passed since we last saw Harry, and the only thing that has changed in the Dursley homes are pictures. And they go from a blonde boy in a bonnet to a boy with computer games with his father and his mother kissing him, the normal pictures on a mantle. But there is no sign of another boy that lives there. And I was just like, how much do you have to despise your sister or what she was to do the bare minimum for a child? That's all. Also, I don't know if you've heard this, but there's a theory that Harry is a Horcrux, and it just kind of made the Dursleys like kind of mean and nasty towards him, or period. So anyway, but if Harry was a Horcrux, then why weren't anyone at school that way? Anyway, he has friends. Okay, so we continue on, and Harry is abruptly wakened by his Aunt Petunia knocking at the door, and we find out he sleeps under the cupboard. And she wants him to look after the bacon because it's Dudley's birthday, and everything has to be perfect. And we find out Harry is a small child, thin, and broken glasses, straggly black hair, and green eyes. And so I don't know how this came up, but like we're talking about like how like those like the Harry Potter glasses, as everyone likes to point out, the round glasses, and I'm like, hey, my husband kindly mentions like no one looks good in government issued glasses. So it's a curious thought to me that the Dursleys wanting to spend glasses on him. He probably is on some sort of government system like insurance, and he gets free glasses, and that's it. And they're not going to spend a dime more than what they have to on this child. Like growing up, like was he loved, cuddled, or did they just leave him in a crib? Honestly, how much do you have to despise your sister or that child to do that? Anyway, so also they won't get his glasses fixed and they're taped. And we find out that like he's the sole survivor. A car crash and his parents died in the car crash, but he doesn't, like, you know, he's not gonna remember the car crash, but he keeps seeing a green flash. So that's embedded in his memory. But he's not allowed to ask any questions about his parents. But I'm like, Petunia knows about the childhood, but won't answer questions about that. But prior to Harry being born, they weren't talking much, if any. Like, you know, they kept their distance. So anyway, so back to the story. So your parent like wants Harry to look after the bacon and doesn't want to burn it. And he notices Dudley's presence on this. And he knows that there's a second TV, a new computer, a racing bike. And Harry's just like, why does Dudley want a racing bike? He's not athletic at all. He sits around, and he's a fat child. And Harry often mentions, especially in this chapter, that that Dudley kind of looks like a pig in a wig. So, but I'm thinking, I'm like, Dudley's parents get him whatever he wants, pretty much. He's that child, and so he's probably like, oh, if I get it, I can be the, like, you know, envious of all the children, because no one else is going to get the spike, or hardly anyone's going to get the spike, for whatever reasons, right? So, as, you know, he's finishing up breakfast, and Uncle Vernon's telling him to comb his hair over, and about, like, once a week that Harry needs a haircut, and Harry's like, I've had, like, you know, this in his head, like, saying I've had more haircuts than any other person I know. So, and so finally, Aunt Petunia brings Dudley down to the kitchen, and it's just, Dudley is over there counting presents. I'm like, you ungrateful child. But there's, I think, 2 less than he had prior. He doesn't see his aunt's gift, so it's 1 prior. And Harry's just sitting there, like, kind of like scoping down his bacon, and before Dudley flips over a table. How often does this happen when Dudley doesn't get his way? That he, like, flips over the table. Honestly. So, his dad, Uncle Vernon's like, oh, my boy just wants to know his money worth. Sir, that's your money. Some of that money could go into your nephew, clothe him properly. Anyway, so, and so, but Aunt Petunia wants to extinguish the fires as quickly as possible. And it's like, oh, we'll just get you 2 more on our way out. And it's just like, you need to teach your child how to be grateful. Anyway, and Dursleys are kind of the same way as Dudley. Like I said, kids are the product of their parents, right? Like, one way or another. So, and so, and Mrs. Dursley answers the phone, and she's over there. It's like, and she hangs up, and their go-to babysitter for Harry, i.e., we're not taking this boy anywhere, period, unless it's to school or probably once a year to the doctor. Mrs. Fig, and she broke her leg and can't watch Harry. And it's just like, they're just tired, and Harry's getting excited. Like, it's like, you know, the Dursleys take Dudley, you know, to amusement parks, hamburger places, in the movies every year for his birthday with a friend. And so, and Harry's like, Mrs. Fig's house smells like cabbage. He doesn't want to listen to her cats and the album. He's excited that he wants to do that for another year. And Petunia, like, mentions, like, oh, what about, no, Mr. Dursley's sister's Marge is brought up. And it's like, no, we can't do that to her. She hates the boy. You hate him too. I'm just going to mention that. Whatever. And she probably hates him because of you. Okay. So, and then Mr. Dursley suggests her friend, Mrs. Dursley's friend, Yvonne, and she's on vacation. And, like, Harry's just getting excited, and I don't blame him. It's like, maybe they can leave him in the house and he can watch TV, play on Dudley's computer, etc., etc. And, like, and he mentions, like, they always talk about Harry, how he's never, like, he's not in the room, or he's, like, something discussing, like, a slug that does not understand him. And it's just like, he's a child and you're treating him like a subhuman being. Like, honestly, like, what on earth? Like, he's just a child. But anyway, Petunia doesn't want to leave him in the house because she's afraid the house is going to blow up. And Harry's like, the house isn't going to blow up. And then it's like, oh, we can take him but leave him in the car. Mr. Dursley, we can't do that. The car's new. He's going to destroy the car. It's just, I feel bad for Harry, honestly. No one should be treated like scum of the earth. And so Dudley's best friend Rise appears. And so anyway, like before they leave for the zoo, Uncle Vernon's like, please, no funny business or else you're going to be punished until Christmas. And that funny business, that things that always happen around Harry are like, he ended up on the school roof while Dudley was chasing him. He doesn't understand how that happened. And, or, like, his hair growing back from awful haircuts, like, almost immediately. There was the ugly sweater that Aunt Petunia from Dudley that was, like, orange and brown. And that kept shrinking, and that was, luckily he didn't get punished for that, but blamed on the wash. But he gets punished for, quote-unquote, funny things all the time. And as we know, once again, spoiler, Harry's the wizard. But he doesn't know this, and it's just kind of like his magic kind of appearing. So on the way to the zoo, Uncle Vernon's complaining about Harry and whatnot, and that day was motorcycles. And I didn't mention this, but Harry did have a dream about flying motorcycles, and the Dursleys are like, how dare you talk about anything that's out of norm, even if it's a, like, show or, I don't know, your dream. So they don't want him talking about any of that. They're trying to suppress something that can't be suppressed. What if Dudley was a wizard? What would they have done? Anyway, thoughts. I've been thinking about that recently. They get to the zoo, and the first thing they do is Dudley and Piers get chocolate ice cream, and the lady behind the counter notices Harry, and he's very, very sweet. But so they wouldn't draw any attention to Harry, they just buy Harry a lemon ice, and Harry's just keeping a distance from Dudley and Piers because one of Dudley's favorite sports is punching Harry and chasing him, and so he's keeping a safe difference just in case their attention won't turn on him. And he's laughing at the grill, how much it reminded him of Dudley. And they get to lunch, and Dudley gets a Knickerbocker glory. I'm not English, I'm not even sure this is a real dish. Someone please explain. But anyway, his Knickerbocker glory didn't have enough ice cream, and Vernon gets him another, another one, and Harry's allowed to eat the first one, right? But his luck is about to run out, right? Dudley wanted to go to the reptile house, and they find the biggest snake, like the one that could crush Uncle Vernon's car, kind of big. But Dudley wants it to wake up and move. Dudley, the reptiles, they don't move much unless they're on the hunt or trying to find warmth. FYI. But Uncle Vernon's tapping the glass, and they tap in, and eventually Dudley's like, I'm bored. And so Harry moves over, and we kind of see Harry sympathizing with the snake and how he kind of knows how it feels, but at least he gets to go about the house at the Dursleys, and he's just stuck in that tank. But the snake rises his head slowly and meets its eyes over to Harry, and I'm sure Harry was shocked. That would shock me too. Probably I would have run out of the reptile house, to be honest, and the zoo, and never go to the zoo again. That's just me. But the snake starts speaking to him. He points his head over to Dudley, Uncle Vernon, and he's like, I get that all the time. They chit chat. And it's like, where are you from? And the snake points to the sign, and the sign says Brazil. It's like, oh, and Harry's like, was it nice in Brazil? And the snake points to the sign again and says, oh, bred in captivity. It's like, I didn't know my parents either. And I'm like, it's just kind of like a very like kind of empathetic, sad moment in the book. And also in the movies. But anyway, so during this interaction, Pierce notices this. And he gets the attention of Dudley at the very least. And Dudley comes over all excitedly and pushes Harry down to the ground. It's like, dude, you rude child. And that frustrates Harry, but they're sticking their hands and noses up to the glass. But the glass vanishes. And I don't know if that snap picked it up. Hi. The glass vanishes. And Dudley and Pierce fall in. And, you know, the snake just brushes up against them. And the reptile keeper is in shock. Everyone's in shock. The reptile keeper makes Mrs. Dursley a cup of tea as the plug thing. And the snake goes past Harry. He's like, thanks. Off to Brazil. Also, this is a funny moment in the story that I always laugh at because the snake doesn't know geography. Right? He doesn't know where he's at. Anyway, he could be in Brazil for all he knows. And by the time they get back to the car, Dudley and Pierce are like, oh my gosh, it bit us, it strangled us. Like, their story just got a lot larger. And so Mr. Dursley waits for Harry to get home. And he's over there. And he gets put in the cupboard without dinner. And Harry's kind of just waiting until everyone goes to sleep. Until, like, you know, to get dinner. But he's alone with his thoughts. Right? He's in the cupboard alone with his thoughts. And he's thinking about the quote-unquote car crash that his parents were in. But he sees a green flash. His scar hurts. Burns, more or less. And, like, he imagines, like, you know, always, like, I imagine my relation gain him, but he doesn't know anyone else. Like, why wouldn't they have gotten him prior to this? And like, his aunt and uncle are really the only thing that he has. So, but that's where the chapter ends. And it's just, it's a very sad day for Harry. And I feel bad in a lot of ways for him. So, I'm going to leave it to that, and let me know on your thoughts of this chapter, The Vanishing Glass from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And chapter 3 is next, and I will be doing that. Leave me a nail emoji down below, and I will also, I'll leave this out there. Any theories that you have that you want my thoughts on, I will surely look into and give you my thoughts, and that'll be it. I am Lola, and this is little AnnaBelle. Stay safe, be strong, I love you.